seen video footage now of smoke billowing out of this building. So there were reports of an explosion, there were reports of a fire. And it is worth saying, just tell me, because initially it seemed to be reports in Moscow, in terms of the location of this. This is not in Moscow itself, it's near to the capital, is that right?
Yes, it is near to the capital. Well, I mean, people who live in London may probably understand the analogy of this M25, which is encircled the capital. This is a big circle road which encircles Moscow, and this is a concert hall which is near that road. But nevertheless, this is where big concert halls are often located, and again, this was the place where at this moment was a concert of one of the musical groups, and according to some of the reports, up to 100 people could have been inside the building at the moment when all this occurred.
Greg, thanks very much for the latest. Worth just recapping, because we are hearing those reports of an explosion, 3 people in camouflage opening fire. We're hearing reports of dead and wounded and large fire at this building near to Moscow. More on that here in the coming minutes on BBC News. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Hello. Cold air has been racing its way southwards across the UK. A very different feel to the weather as we end the week and head into the start of the weekend. For Saturday, we can expect that cold winds to continue to blow. There'll be some really heavy showers, and some of those showers will be wintry over high ground in the north. Now, on the earlier satellite picture, you can see this stripe of cloud. A cold front that pushed its way southeastwards during today brought some rain with it. Behind it, a mix of clear spells and these speckled shower clouds, all brought in by an area of low pressure passing to the north of the UK. So through the night, we will see lots of showers, some wintry showers, even down to, say, 200 or 300 metres above sea level across parts of Scotland. Some snow in the showers over the highest ground of northern England and Northern Ireland. Temperatures getting pretty close to freezing despite that brisk wind, so there could be some icy stretches on untreated roads, particularly out in the countryside across the northern half of the UK. For tomorrow, our area of low pressure is still with us. Lots of isobars around that low. That shows that it will be a widely windy day, a mix of sunny spells and showers, but the showers will be heavy, perhaps thundery, tending to join together, I think, into a line of cloud and showery rain pushing its way southwards through the day, and still some wintriness in the showers across Scotland, although the snow level coming up as the day wears on. Gusts of 40, 50 miles per hour or more around northern and western coast. So on the thermometer, 9 or 10 degrees, temperatures down on where they have been, but when we factor in the wind chill, these are the feels like temperatures. This is what it'll feel like out there, 5 or 6 degrees. Now, as we move through Saturday night, the winds will actually slowly start to ease a little bit, particularly across western and southern parts. Many of the showers will fade as well. We'll keep some in the northeast of Scotland, where we're closest to this area of low pressure, which will be departing eastwards as we move on into Sunday. Still some strong winds along the east coast through the day on Sunday, still potentially 1 or 2 showers, but for many places, Sunday is going to be a drier and somewhat brighter day with some spells of hazy sunshine ahead of this weather system, bringing cloud and rain into Northern Ireland later in the day. Temperatures coming up a little bit, 9 to 12, maybe 13 degrees. We head into next week. It does look very unsettled with showers or longer spells of rain, often fairly windy. Temperatures creeping upwards around 10 to 14 degrees.
The climate of southern Europe is changing. It's becoming more and more like North Africa.
Thousands of people continue to stream across Sudan and South Sudan.
There's riot police everywhere around. This is not the face of France that Emmanuel Macron wants you to see.
We're having to stay under the trees here because Russian drones are constantly patrolling.
This was the town of Bethania. These were people's homes, but look at it now.
This is the moment they've been waiting for. The pride, the excitement and the affection is palpable.
This is as close as we can get to Gaza itself, about 5 kilometres in that direction. There is a lot of military activity, jets overhead.
17 days they have spent inside that tunnel. Now they are finally out.
At 6, the Princess of Wales has just announced that she is undergoing treatment for cancer. Here now is a very personal message from her, which has just been released, in which she explains what has been happening in recent weeks.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment, but most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
The Princess of Wales with a very personal message that was filmed on Wednesday in Windsor. Well, our royal correspondent Daniela Ralph is with me now. A huge shock to Catherine, as she says. It's going to be a huge shock to millions of other people as well.
Yeah, that's right. A huge shock, as you say, to the Princess of Wales, and clearly a very deeply upsetting time for her and her family in recent weeks. And what's very clear from hearing from the team around the Prince and Princess today is that this has been entirely driven by trying to protect the children. That has been the focus of the Prince and Princess of Wales in recent weeks. It is why this news has come out today. Today is when Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis break up from school for the Easter holidays, and it was felt that this was the moment to go public because they are now able to protect them as parents, protect their children from the scrutiny and the spotlight that might have been going on had they still been at school. They now have 2 to 3 weeks to spend some time privately as a family, and the Prince and Princess of Wales had wanted to make sure they tell the children properly, appropriately about this diagnosis and give them time to take that in. So that is why it is today that we have found out.
And the tone of her message, I am well, she says in that video, I hope to make a full recovery. I mean, that is very much her tone, isn't it, her message?
Yeah, we are told that the Princess is feeling very positive and is very hopeful of making a full recovery. I think anybody who has just watched that video message, they will see her vulnerability in it and see how difficult things have been for her. But I also think that it's clearly been a very difficult time in terms of speculation and rumour. And that video is Catherine, in her own words, done in her own way. And the hope is that she will now be able to perhaps quell some of that more outlandish rumour and speculation about her condition.
A very difficult time as well for the monarchy, isn't it? The monarchy being all about stability.
That's right. It is a very unstable time for the monarchy and the British royal family at the moment. We're not going to see the Princess of Wales for some time on any kind of normal schedule of public duty. We're also not seeing the King very much either, as he is undergoing his own cancer treatment. So there are two key significant figures from public life missing, and it is very noticeable. But the royal family say that both are doing well. They want to focus on their recovery, having some privacy, and that they will be back in business on royal duty as soon as possible.
Daniela, thank you. And you've been looking back over the last few weeks and the impact that all of this has been having on the royal family. Let's see your report now.
This was the last official footage of the Princess of Wales with the royal family on Christmas Day at Sandringham, with her 3 children who she is now so keen to protect after going public with news of her diagnosis. Back in December, all seemed well as she spoke to the crowd.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you to come and say hello to us. Yeah, well, very happy Christmas.
But 3 weeks later, she was admitted to hospital for major abdominal surgery. It was in her post-operative tests that signs of cancer were found. The clamour for information about the princess's condition has been intense. This footage, published earlier this week, filmed by a member of the public, showed her shopping in Windsor with her husband last weekend. And this photo, released on Mother's Day, to ease some of the public speculation, did the opposite, with the princess issuing a statement to say she had made some edits to the image. A turning point appears to have been this Thanksgiving service in Windsor for King Constantine of Greece at the end of February. The rest of the royal family were there, but the Prince of Wales pulled out that morning, very suddenly, due to a personal matter. We now know this was around the time the princess was diagnosed and began her treatment. It has been an incredibly turbulent time for the family. The couple's priority has been to protect their children and ensure they have time to explain what's wrong to Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. They now hope the speculation and rumours will stop as they spend time privately as a family for the Easter holiday. The princess won't be back to a full programme of public duty for some time. We may see her occasionally, but only when her medical team have approved. For now, the Princess of Wales wants time, space and privacy to deal with her diagnosis and recovery. Daniela Ralph, BBC News.
Well, let's talk to our medical editor, Fergus Walsh. Now, as with King Charles, we are being given very little information about what it exactly is that she's being treated for. But from the few details we have, what more can you tell us?
Okay, well, Sophie, we are not being told what type of cancer this is, nor what stage it was caught at. Now, both of those are crucial factors, and I'm not going to speculate on either of those, but the tone of the Princess of Wales statement is very positive in terms of recovery. What we have been told is that the cancer was found after she had this successful abdominal surgery, and it was discovered once the post-operative tests had been completed and the results had been reviewed. Now, she is now undergoing a course of what she described as preventative chemotherapy. That began late last month. Now, chemotherapy is an umbrella term for any drug treatment to kill cancer. Now, it can either be given to mop up any remaining cancer cells that may remain behind once there's been successful surgery to remove the cancer, or to ensure that the cancer doesn't return in the future. Now, it can be given as an infusion, but increasingly it can be given as tablets, daily tablets, and the treatment for cancer has transformed in recent years. Much of daily tablet treatment can be taken at home. In terms of the future, Catherine is stressing she is well and getting stronger every day.
She's 42 years old. She's only just turned 42. How unusual is it for a woman of her age to be treated for cancer like this?
Cancer touches the lives of every family. 1 in 2 of us will get cancer. Now, it is more common the older we get, but thousands of people every year are diagnosed at a younger age. 1,000 people a day in the UK are given a cancer diagnosis. Now, it is obviously a huge shock, a cancer diagnosis for any family, but 3 million people in the UK are living with cancer. And I think the message at the end, when Catherine urged others affected by cancer not to lose faith or hope, I think that is a key message this evening.
Absolutely. Fergus Walsh, our medical editor, thank you. Well, let's talk to Helena Wilkinson, our correspondent, who is in Windsor, where the family live, and the Easter holidays approaching, and the Princess of Wales making it very clear that the focus very much now for her is on her family at home.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Sophie. The news here in Windsor a number of tourists outside the castle, just starting to hear about the news of the Princess of Wales's cancer diagnosis. It will come as a shock across the world, but also to people who visit this tourist town and also residents here, because, as you say, the Princess of Wales and her family, their 3 young children, live here in Windsor at Adelaide Cottage, which is around half a mile from where we live. And that very personal statement from Catherine we've had in the last 10 minutes or so, where she spoke about how she and Prince William have had to talk to their 3 young children, George, Charlotte and Louis, in probably very careful words and very well thought out words about her cancer diagnosis, because for young children to hear that their mother has cancer will no doubt be very devastating and probably confusing as well. So what they'll be trying to do as a family is stay very close, of course, and keep very private here at their home in Windsor. They have been able to, on the whole, while Catherine has been recovering from what she has said this evening had been major abdominal surgery, but they will continue, or she will continue, her recovery here in Windsor. As you say, Sophie, the Easter holidays just getting underway for her 3 children, and the family felt like this was the right time to go public with the news, but now they clearly want space for her to continue with the preventative chemotherapy that she has been undertaking, started very recently.
Helena Wilkinson in Windsor, thank you very much. And we will, of course, return to that story later on in the programme. But right now we're going to bring you some more of today's news, some breaking news that's coming out of Russia. And the news agency TASS is reporting that there has been a shooting inside a concert hall near Moscow. Our security correspondent, Gordon Carrera, is with me now. Very early stages here, very early details. What can you tell us?
Well, it is early stages, but it does appear to have been a serious incident at a concert hall in Moscow. Pictures on social media, which we haven't verified yet, but also reports from the scene indicate a number of gunmen, maybe between 3 and 5 in camouflage gear with automatic weapons, went into this concert hall and appear to have started firing. There are scenes of apparent panic, people trying to escape, as we can see from some of these videos, and also here signs of black smoke rising over that concert hall just on the outskirts of Moscow. Talk that there you can see on the inside as well, the concert hall, people were running and hiding, it seems. Possible that those gunmen also threw some kind of incendiary bomb which might have started that fire, and you can hear some of the gunfire and see some of the panic from people at what was going on. Now, we don't know yet who was involved, who was behind this attack. It is worth saying that a couple of weeks ago, the US Embassy in Moscow actually issued a warning to its citizens saying there were concerns, there was some kind of intelligence about extremist attacks, and warning people to avoid crowded places, including concerts. So it may have been that there was some kind of concern about this in recent weeks, about some kind of attack. But as I said, we don't know yet who is behind this or how serious it is. But Russian officials are suggesting there were a number of casualties.
OK, well, as we were saying, it's an ongoing situation, and we will also come back to that as we get it. More information later on in the programme. Gordon, for now, thank you.
Welcome to BBC News. We are going to begin with that breaking story. In the last half hour, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has issued a video message saying that she is undergoing treatment for cancer. In the statement, she says the treatment is preventative and the treatment is in the early stages. She also speaks about the need to inform her own young family about her medical condition before making a more public announcement. We will have full coverage tonight, but first let's play you that video from Catherine, Princess of Wales.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
So that video recorded by the Princess of Wales on Wednesday, issued within the last half hour. Already a lot of reaction, as you would expect. This news coming as a shock right around the world. We've had a statement from Downing Street coming from the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, tweeting that his thoughts are, he says, with the Princess of Wales, the Prince of Wales and the royal family. He says in particular her 3 children at this difficult time. He also went on to criticise some of the scrutiny that she has faced. You know, we've talked about that in recent days, suggesting she's been unfairly treated by certain sections of the media around the world and on social media. He's now echoed those thoughts made by the Princess of Wales in that video, asking for privacy to focus on her treatment and be with her loving family. The Prime Minister saying he wishes her a full and speedy recovery. Also, reaction from the First Minister of Wales, Vaughan Gethings, tweeting that he is deeply saddened after hearing the news of the Princess of Wales undergoing that treatment for cancer. He said that on behalf of the people across Wales, I'd like to send our love and support to the Princess and her family at this very difficult time. He says our thoughts are with you as you continue your treatment. A response from the White House in Washington, D.C., the spokesperson at the White House saying, we've just heard the terrible news. Our thoughts are with the Princess of Wales and her family members and all friends during this incredibly difficult time. We wish her a full recovery. She also echoes those thoughts. It's important that we respect her privacy, especially at this time. So we'll bring you up to date with all the reaction as we get it throughout the evening. Let's bring in our royal correspondent, Sarah Campbell, who is with me. And Sarah, this coming as a big shock for many, not least, of course, for those watching that statement just within the last half hour.
Yes, so I think it's worth reiterating as well, isn't it, that, yes, the news that has broken just in the last few minutes or so that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, let's go back to January. So she had this abdominal surgery, the major abdominal surgery. We knew about that. At the time, the guidance from the palace was that this was non-cancerous. Obviously, there was a lot of concern about that condition. But what it appears is that the tests at the time, they didn't show cancer, but afterwards it was post-operative tests that found that cancer had been present. And so our understanding is that since late February, the Princess has been undergoing preventative chemotherapy. That's what the phrase that the palace is using is preventative chemotherapy. And the statement really makes clear, doesn't it, that as the Princess shares, this came as a huge shock to her, but William and I, she says, have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. Of course, Prince George, just 10 years old, Charlotte's 8 years old, Prince Louis is just 5 years old. I think it's worth just stressing the timing. People will still be asking lots of questions about this. Why today? Why today? And that is because the 3 children effectively broke up from school today, and the absolute priority of the Prince and Princess of Wales is protecting the children as much as possible. They would know that when this story was released that it would go global, that questions were being asked everywhere, as they have been, haven't they, over the last 6 weeks or so. And so their priority was to be it at a time when they could protect, they could shield the children and just protect them. And so that, I think, explains the timing today.
Yes, an important point. She spoke of that need to process and manage this privately. That's what the statement says, doesn't it? Something, as you allude to there, that has been very difficult to do in recent weeks.
Yeah, almost impossible. I mean, we don't need to go through all the conspiracy theories, but there has, obviously, because she hasn't, as one of the most prominent members of the royal family, probably as one of the most public figures globally, she hasn't been out and about. We knew that she was obviously recuperating from this abdominal surgery, but questions started to be asked. Social media hates a vacuum of information, and so they started to fill in the blanks, and it just became, I hate to use the word ridiculous, but that's exactly what it's become, and cruel and hurtful, some of the things that have been said online. And so I'm sure that the palace, the prince, the princess will be hoping that by coming out, not answering all of the questions, but answering some of the questions, giving some detail, that they can have what they want to have, which is time, it's space, it's privacy.
Yes, and what can we read into the tone of this statement? Because she talks, doesn't she, and you talk about the children there, she says that she's had to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. She sounds very upbeat in this video message.
And I think we have to take from that what we can take from that. We have to, you know, look at the statement, look at the fact that she was well enough to sit there and she was filmed, and BBC Studios have released a statement talking about the fact that this wasn't an edited film, and the BBC had no editorial control. This was filmed in Windsor earlier this week, and yeah, as you say, you know, she's talking very clearly to camera. She's talking about the fact, as you say, that she said to her children, I am well, she says, and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body and spirits. Let's not forget that not only is she undergoing preventative chemotherapy, and chemotherapy, as we know, can affect different people in different ways, but she is also recovering from the original major abdominal surgery, which we were told at the time, the period of convalescence would take us at least, we weren't expecting to see her at any royal engagement, certainly before Easter, but that wasn't a definite date at any point. That was the earliest date. So she's had these two things to contend with, and then from a mental perspective, also having to deal with what she, as much as she may want to switch off, it's very hard to switch off when there is such a frenzy of attention around her, and so she's had to deal with that as well.
And as you say, you talked there about those official engagements, last seen in an official capacity on Christmas Day, and since then, as we know, recovering from that original surgery. What have we learned in any of these statements about any possible return to public life?
I think the palace are being very clear to not give any definite returns, for the simple reason that when that maybe doesn't happen, that immediately starts ringing alarm bells. So I don't think we're going to get anything specific. The sense I get from the palace is that the princess wants to get back as soon as possible. She's wanting to recover as soon as possible. And we may start seeing her going to events, but there is no time scale of that. And we shouldn't take that just because she's made an appearance, that means things are back to normal. No, I don't expect that at all. It will be a managed return, but clearly that is the aim, is for her to come back when she can, but it has to be when she is absolutely healthy and ready and feels up to it.
And a brief word, if you will. Prince William, of course, now in a position where his father, King Charles, is undergoing cancer treatment, and now his wife, Catherine, also facing this cancer treatment. She talks again in that message, doesn't she, Catherine, about the support from William, but a very difficult time for him too.
I can't even imagine. Hugely difficult time. As you say, this all... We had that day, didn't we, where in January, where we learned on the same day that the King was having a procedure on an enlarged prostate, and that's when we learned about Catherine, that she had been in hospital and undergone surgery. A couple of weeks later, we then found out about the King's cancer diagnosis, and now, 6 weeks later, we're finding about Catherine, Princess of Wales. On a completely human level, regardless of his status, of the fact that he's the heir to the throne, that he has all this level of responsibility anyway, on a completely human level, it must be a hugely difficult time.
Sarah, for now, thank you. I know you're going to stay with us throughout the evening and keep us updated on any reaction. There's also another major story that we're following for you tonight. Reports from Moscow suggesting a number of people have been killed and wounded during a shooting at a concert hall there. Videos posted online also show smoke appearing to emerge from the Crocus concert hall. Now, Russian news agencies say at least 3 people dressed in camouflage opened fire at the venue. In a statement, Moscow's mayor has said a huge tragedy has occurred. There have also been reports that the roof of the theatre building is now on fire. People are still inside that building. Let's get the very latest with our Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, in Moscow. And Steve, evening to you. Just bring us up to date on what we know about what's going on so far.
Well, this is a developing story. It's still going on. This is what we know so far. That earlier this evening, a number of armed men burst into a concert hall in Moscow, the Crocus City Hall, just before a pop concert, and began shooting. The hall was packed with visitors.